All right, so this latest episode of Family or Fiancé is much calmer than the previous one. This one, we can work with. All right, stick around. We'll talk about it. All right, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin.
I'm Tarsha.
This is Conversations with the Crawleys, who do conversations about faith, family, relationships, and we do recaps, reviews, and commentary on some of our favorite shows. This one is all about the latest and the sanest episode of Family or Fiancé. Maybe not fully sane, but definitely not as crazy as the
It's only the second episode.
Second episode of the season.
You might want to wait before you call it the sanest.
It's the sanest so far of this season.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. All right. This is content that you enjoy. You know what to do by now. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, request notifications.
And share.
And we'll see you in the comments. All right. Let's jump in. We have, this one is all about Sonia and Michael.
Mm-hmm.
So he met her. He left work one day.
Mm-hmm.
Saw her.
Mm-hmm.
It was raining.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, hey, babe, here's an umbrella. She's like, no, thank you. And now they're engaged.
I'm like, okay, get wet.
I'm sorry. Listen.
I was like, get wet then.
Bruh man trying to be chivalrous.
Right.
Try to show some courtesy.
Right.
See something he's attracted to.
Right.
Someone he's attracted to.
Right.
Like, let me offer an umbrella. Mm-mm. Those are the kind of folks that when you open the door for them, they don't say thank you. Those are the ones you drag back through the door and be like, get your own door.
He said, drag back through the door.
Get your own door.
Nah,
Trying to be nice.
I'm going first.
So as far as them, she says their communication is a huge issue.
Right, because they've been together 3 years.
Yes.
They've been engaged 1 year.
Right. Right.
Okay. The timeline is important here.
Yes.
Okay.
She says that she just continually builds up frustration and doesn't feel that he listens.
Correct.
It's kind of their thing.
Correct.
In addition to, as we find out, money has some stuff to say about it.
Yes, because she has 3 jobs, and he has 1 job and a half a hustle.
Right. He got a hus, not a hustle. He full on hustle. He got a hus, and he live in hoop dreams through NBA 2K. Yeah. All right. So she says that she is manifesting a house for herself. So she has a son. He has a daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and they all live together.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, she works 8 days a week, all of her businesses. He works as, like you said, an HVAC tech, which.
Yeah, if you're doing AC and refrigerating, you can really make the money. And as they stated, he has a side business doing this.
Yes.
So you can work for somebody else, and then on the side,
on weekends,
like on Facebook, they're like, "Hey, I need someone to come check out my AC, put some refrigerator,
just like some of these mobile mechanics who they'll come in, put a battery in,
right."
Don't have pay overhead. Listen.
Right.
Listen.
Right.
So, but she's like, she wants security. Mm-hmm. That's probably the biggest thing for her, is that she wants the security. He says he would love to take care of her, but they're not there yet.
Oh, he's not there yet.
He's not there yet, right?
But he did say they, but he should be saying he ain't there yet.
He ain't there. And she says she can't feel relaxed. She can't feel supported by him because she working 3 jobs to make things somewhat work together.
Yeah. And he's calling her saying he's going to the Knicks game.
Yeah. Hey, babe, when you get home from work, I'll be at the game. She's like, oh, it must be nice. Listen, let me tell you, if your lady friend ever tells you, oh, it must be nice, you need to rewind and figure out what you just said that causes her to say, oh, it must be nice. Because that's not, oh, that's nice. Oh, that's one. No. That's your warning. That's your warning. That's your clue.
That's your clue.
Something ain't right.
Something ain't right.
Oh, must be nice. Wait, I'm sorry, babe. What?
Because I've said it before.
Yes, you have. And I'll be like, wait, what's wrong? What's going on? Hey. And then we get to it. Okay. Listen, this is partly therapy for us, just to talk through stuff. All right. Anyway, let's jump in. As far as who he's bringing his mother, his daughter, and his grandmother. He admits he doesn't have the best relationship with his daughter. Okay. She's bringing her mother, her father, and her best friend who's a male.
Yeah.
Okay. The father is like, hey, it'd be nice to meet him for the first time. Talking about Michael.
Yes. I'm like, what?
Now, I'm not as old school as you got to ask the father's permission.
Oh, yeah. I'm not talking about that.
I'm not. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Right,
I'm not. I'm
right.
just saying. I'm not there. So I'm not
Right.
saying that he was out of order for not asking the father before he asked the daughter.
Oh, yeah.
I'm fine with that.
That wouldn't be an argument.
But the fact that they've been together for 3 years
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
and they haven't met yet.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, are they in different states? Like, I know she's working 3 jobs. So, like,
But there's a holiday you could have gotten off somewhere.
That's what I'm saying.
At some point, you'd have gone to a cookout. At some point, you'd have had Christmas, Thanksgiving.
Nobody could come together because at least one, like the mom.
FaceTime. They could have done a FaceTime or a Google Meet or Hangout
Right.
to say, hey.
This is my boyfriend. Are they just saying physically? You know, because it sounds like she has talked about him, right?
It sounds like it, yeah.
So, but I'm like, when you said that y'all live together, you never seen your child in 3 years? I have seen my parents.
You have?
In 3 years.
Yes, we have.
In person.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to figure out what?
That don't make sense.
Okay. That's the first hole that, like, I don't know why that hasn't happened, but okay.
Yes. So they meet with Tracy, and she's getting an understanding of the whole relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, she is, as far as her task is to write down the budget, how much she wants Michael to contribute.
Mm-hmm.
His question is sit there and take questions from her family and friends. That was his assignment. You just sit there and answer them questions truthfully. The grandmother feels that Sonia, or his grandmother, feels that Sonia is overbearing for Michael. And we'll find out about the grandma in a little bit. Because grandma.
Yeah. And I get why she says that on both. I get that on the side of wanting to see Michael be at his potential.
Right.
Right? And I put it in air quotes because everyone has potential.
Everybody got potential.
But we feel like it's our assignment to pull the potential out of somebody. So, and on grandma's side, she's just like, well, she over talking him, blah, blah, blah. But we'll get to
grandma, because grandma got her own set of issues. All right. So they meet with the family. Mm-hmm. And so as far as kind of what the family's concerns are, the daughter says she wants them to figure out what's causing them to bump heads, talking about Sonia and Michael. Mm-hmm. The grandmother's concern is finances. Mm-hmm. The mother's concern is communication. Mm-hmm. Okay, pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
On her side, on Sonia's side, her mother's concerned about the blending of family and Michael taking the load off of Sonia. In other words, she got 3 jobs.
Right, support her.
Yeah. The father kind of aligns with that, supports Sonia in everything that she does, right? And the friend is like, Sonia, listen, baby girl, I want to make sure, is this really what you want? And are you settling? Are you just like, he gave me an umbrella. He kind of cute.
We live together.
This is what we're going to make work. So the friend, listen, the friend is the only one who keeps it real throughout this whole thing.
Yes, I applaud. This was a great example of a good friend.
Yes.
He wasn't sugarcoating it.
Not at all.
He wasn't like, I'm gonna say what you want so we could be friends. And that takes a lot of courage.
Yes.
So I applaud. I would want him as a friend.
Yes.
That's the brother I would come to where I know he's going to keep it real for me, even though I'm not going to like what he's going to say, but making it just in your face, honest.
Just be honest. All right.
Great job.
So they, of course, break out into their tasks, right? So Michael says he doesn't like Sonia working all the time. And Sonia's friend is like, but she likes to work. So how does that work for you? What does that make you feel like? How do you work with that?
Right. I don't understand the response there. Because on one hand, you're saying, okay, she has 3 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants her support. And then the other hand, you're saying she likes it. So does she like the job and she want to keep the jobs because that's something she's interested in?
Right.
Or are you saying no matter what he does to support, she's going to keep working?
I kind of took it as a mixture. She likes to work because it helps her feel secure. And if Michael was doing what he was supposed to do and doing what was needed, she would feel secure. So I think the work is the joy she gets of feeling secure and feeling safe. If she feels secure and feels safe some other way, it's possible that she may not like work as much, right? That's where we're psychoanalyzing as amateurs.
Well, and also there's holes that are there.
True.
Because I get it. Anyone would be excited like, hey, I want to start a business and I want to release my job that's keeping me chained to a desk 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love the business of it. Like I love starting my own business. I want to become that full time and then let go of something else. So I get that. Maybe it's just the way he answered it,
It's possible.
Because I'd be like, good. So what are you going to do about it? Because that's what I would have said. I'm glad that you don't like it. What are you going to do about it?
Well, because they do start asking him, and the friend says his answers are too vague. I'm going to do better. Okay, what specifically are you going to do better? I'm going to make some changes. What changes are you going to make?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Which is good, pinning them down, because that means either he's not self-evaluating to know what needs to be changed.
Right.
He keeps hearing something has to be changed.
Right.
So his response is, I'm going to change.
I'm going to change. And this is where we find out that he plays video games.
For 5 hours
a day. That's wild to me.
I've seen some hours.
I play, right? But I don't play at the expense of everything, right?
No. I mean, no.
Okay.
No. But
I'll come in. So that is for me, that is my veg out, right? That is my
yes.
And you give me the space to do that. But when you need something, you're like, okay, hey, can we get this? And I'm like, okay, let me finish this up. And we get it done. Right.
Because we have to work through communicating through those spaces.
Right.
What it meant to you, and when I needed something, how we were gonna resolve it.
Yep.
Because it could be a 2-hour thing.
It can be. Yeah.
But 5 hours every
day.
And it sounds excessive. I was like, is that exaggerating? Or are we really indicating that we're on there for 5? And my thing is this, my understanding, depending on who you are, if you're a gamer, you can make money from doing that. But if you're just saying, I'm on there where I'm just getting away, like...
Well, for him, it is, he says he played basketball in high school, I guess in college too, right? So for him, this is his way to feel like he made it to the pros.
Yeah, that's not. No. He got to wake up. So yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Right? On her side, her task, so she gets up the budget. Her total is about, I think she said about $3,500 a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it sounds like and I couldn't tell. We would have to
go back and be able to read the board.
But I couldn't tell if that was income per month or what she has as far as expenses.
I thought it was expenses because I thought she was saying $2,500 was for her rent.
Gotcha. That's right. Yes.
So I was like, okay.
And then his expenses are about $1,200 a month.
Correct.
So she's like, she works 3 jobs.
And she didn't know where his car insurance. She's like, I don't know about.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in car insurance.
I don't know who takes care of the car insurance or what's going on with, because I don't know how much it is.
Right.
That's what she said.
And so she's like, she just needs about another $1,000 from him to help take some load off, to help get things squared away.
Yeah. And I don't know what that means. Does that mean for her to stop working or for her to feel secure?
Good.
So those are the things that weren't clearly answered there, right? Because if it means then I don't have to work another job. I can focus on my business and I can focus on what my main
We can
job
do this and do that. Yep.
Correct.
Yep. So, and she's just like, he needs to get off the games. 5 hours is just excessive.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's almost a full-time job. That's 35 hours a week.
Right. So I'm like, so why is that haven't brought you income? Why you ain't on what's
Get
it
on
called? Twitch, where people watch you and can pay you. If you're that good for 5 hours a day, you better be.
And some people ain't even that good. It's just they are entertaining. They say stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So then we find out grandma, she been loaning him money.
Right, because on her side, when they were talking about this, and they were surprised, they didn't know, what was going on. Obviously, they wouldn't know about what's going on in their finances.
Right.
But while they're finding out, grandma confesses of loaning him money, that he's coming to her.
Up to $7,000.
Yeah, it could be more.
Yeah. Well, yes, that's where the estimate was.
And the mom didn't know. So the mom looking over her like, what? You've loaned him that much money?
And
Has he paid it back?
Right. That was the question. And she's like, no.
No.
Mom and the mother's like, no. If he borrowing, I'm going to get my money back.
That's why he ain't asking her.
And then we find out after that, mama and grandma are paying his insurance.
Yeah, because then she said, well, we're paying his car insurance. I'm like, what? What? I said, okay. So they realize after the fact, while he's engaged, they're part of the problem.
Yes.
I'm like, y'all.
Yes.
Are y'all raising a man?
They enabled.
Or not? And the same thing, if it was a daughter, are you raising a daughter or not?
Yep. Because our kids are...
Let me tell you something. My daughter works 2 jobs, goes to school full time. She pays all of her bills. And when she did have to ask for help, we asked, are you asking for advice or you're saying you need financial help? And the only reason why she needed, because car went down.
Right.
And she needed a new car. She didn't have the down payment because everything goes back into her taking care of her living expenses, making sure she could pay for school and survive. And we asked her, I said, well, do you need advice or do you need some help? Because we weren't going to barge into her life.
Right.
We weren't going to barge in and say, okay, well, we're going to take care of this. We're going to start paying this, da-da-da-da-da. And since she's been gone, she's been in school except for 1 year when she was trying to decide if she was going to. So she already got a 4-year degree. This is her going back to school. And so only thing we still have is her cell phone bill.
Yep.
To be honest.
Yep.
And I feel like out of all the stuff she's paying while she's in school, I can at least pay for her cell phone.
Yes.
Now, we have a son. That joker pay rent. Now, some
he lives
things,
here. He lives with us right now.
Yes. And now, if some things has been happening, he's been trying to transition. And we're like, okay, we can put a small pause. But I was already thinking last night, those changes he made, he ain't making. We better get back on it. I thought about that before we even saw this session. So I don't want my kids to be ever in a position where we're not going to be here and they can't take care of themselves. Right.
Now, we on the flip side of that, we want to be a help and a resource to them if something comes up, right?
Yes.
But we don't want that to be their crutch.
Correct.
We don't want that to be their standard.
Correct.
That they know, well, mom and dad gonna always bail me out.
No. You need to feel it.
Because when mom and dad are either unable to do that or what have you, then you got to figure out how to make that maneuver and make that work. And if that means you getting a second and third job, get a second and third job.
Because that's what we had to do.
Yeah.
Now, have times we had to borrow from our parents or ask for help. Yeah. And that was the hardest thing to do.
Yes.
Because we wanted to do it on our own. And then there's been times where we're like, we're just gonna have to rough this out. You asked and they said, no, I can't help you. It's good learning experience that you ain't gonna die.
And we made the changes and made the adjustments we needed to make.
Things had to be cut off.
Yep. So,
we had to go without.
Yep.
So I was just like, oh my God. I was like, okay, so here's the first contributing factor to what's going on with Michael.
Yes. So then they get to family dinner, and he's making the announcement he's going to cut down from 5 hours of video games to 2 hours of video games. And Sonia's like, oh, I hear that, but are you really willing to make sacrifices? What about cutting it out so that you can focus on your business, so that you can do those other things? And Dad pipes up and he's like, it's time to big boy up.
Well, because he was saying it, just like you said, it's my escape. So I'm not going to fully give it up. Right. That's what he was trying to say. I can't fully give it up, but I know I could cut some of that time down and I could bring in some extra income. Right.
Sonia makes this statement. I was like, ooh. She says, everybody says they're doing a lot, but she said, the question is, are you doing enough?
That's
a mouthful right there.
That's a bar.
And of course, Michael's like, he starts feeling attacked. And then he acknowledges that his grandmother is his safety net, and he values her opinion and is now just used to it. And Sonia is kind of like, she can't get with that in many respects, because it's like, now it's become not just you look to her for advice, but it's like you look to her for direction. You look to her for approval.
I hear what he's saying, but I don't think that's what he meant.
That may not be what he meant.
Because as we'll find out later, we'll find out later about it. I wonder if he's talking about a safety net financially.
Yeah, I got you.
And not talking about decisions about actual life changes.
Got you. Okay.
So
the next morning at breakfast, her friend is concerned that Michael's just not self-sufficient. And he doesn't want Sonia to take on any additional stress. He says that right now, if you ask me, you ain't getting my blessing.
You know, because y'all keep asking me a lot. It's a no.
It's a nah.
In all languages. In Spanish, no.
In Russian, yes. No. In Martian, no. Right? So. Hey, listen. In tongues.
Right. No.
Nah.
No.
All right. So they meet with Tracy again, and he talks about how he feels attacked and that he's doing stuff but not enough. He says he can contribute more than $1,000 a month.
And that stuff kind of pissed me off. Don't tell me I asked it for 1,000, but you could give me more, but you're not. That's the worst thing you can say. I'd rather say, you know what? Yeah, I could do 1,000. But when you can say, oh, I could do more than 1,000.
Michael, if you're watching, the way you should approach that is like, you know what? I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna see what I can do. Under promise, over deliver.
Right.
You could. I know I could probably get about 500.
Right.
I'm gonna work towards that 1,000, and then when you pop up with 1,200, you the hero.
Right.
You the guy.
I'd be like, oh my, because anyone would be like, oh my God.
But you telling her, you showing all your cars.
Like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I could bring 2,000 to the table.
I could easily do over 1,000.
Ninja.
What? You can easily, and you have it? What? I'm about to fight you. I'm all stressed up, and then you want me to come back and lay down? No.
She would fight me. If all of a sudden I was like, oh yeah, I can bring you an extra $3,000 a month, she'd be like, nah, ninja.
Nah, we ain't doing You want me
baby, I can probably bring about another $20. And then if I come up with another 1,000,
like, that's awesome. Keep doing it.
You do that.
Because once I see you do it, that's another thing.
That's the expectation, right?
That's the standard.
Right. But if I'm like, look, this month I was able to pull you 1,000, then I set it so that next month, maybe I may not be 1,000, but I can definitely do more than that 20 I told you.
I'm like,
strategies, brother, strategies.
I'll be like, it's not right, right?
Right.
Because you're telling me you could do more, but you decide not to do more.
Right.
And that's the whole point.
So basically, there's a conversation also with Tracy about only getting married if you can be happy if nothing changes, which that's another bar. That right there.
I was like, she's being honest.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, look, he's a grown adult now. Any changes he willfully does is going to be on his own.
Yep.
And you're going to have to make a decision. It's no longer about Michael. It's now about you. Are you going to be happy with him not changing?
Yep.
And this is where my other question comes in, is that we don't see. I don't know if Dr. Tracy talks about it or not. Is there any way they could change what they need coming in? Because if we were reading it right and we heard correctly, because we only watch it once and we give our first impressions,
right?
Could they move out of this $2,500 property? I don't know if this is her mortgage and he moved in. I don't know if they found something and they're rented together.
And also, we don't know the market of where they are. Right?
No,
we don't know.
We don't know. But again, if there's a potential where you could lower your debt, right? And he doesn't have to come up with 1,000, he just needs to come up with 500.
Right.
I haven't heard that they've looked at changing or decreasing any of their expenses where that conversation is no longer a conversation.
Right.
Right?
Right. Because they should have refinanced when the rates was low like we did. Because
we don't know. We don't know how long she's been in. We don't know if he just moved in with her.
In all honesty, $2,500 could be a studio apartment in some areas, right?
It could be.
It could be, depending upon where they are.
But I
get what you're saying is looking at from a budget perspective, where are some opportunities to cut some things out so that some of the pressure is relieved from the obligations while they're working on his ability to step up.
Right.
I get that. Yeah.
Or again, we're talking about him not ever changing. So if he's never going to change,
True.
He's still on. He can still come up with 1,200, and you don't want this to be an issue. Where in the budget can you go ahead and cut off? So if you're going to stay in love, because I put it in quotes, because we, as they say, they fall in and out of love.
Right.
Right? Because you're making a commitment now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because for 2 months, I can not love you. I can like you. But I could not love you. I can't just decide I'm just going to end the relationship.
Right.
Right? I'm telling you.
All right. But he's like, one of the things she realizes that she can't put more into a person than they do for themselves.
Yes. That's what Sonia said, right?
Yes. Yes. Sonia was like, she realized she can't put more into a person than they want for themselves.
Ding, ding, ding.
And he realizes he needs to make some changes.
Good for you.
Finally, thank you.
Yes.
All right. So, but
they boo-hooing. No, we got to talk about she boo-hooing. I put so much time in this. Girlfriend is only 3 years lost. Then I get it. That could be seem like a lot.
3 years is a lot.
Compared to being married.
But 20 years of frustration is a whole
and then getting divorced.
Yes, I get you.
40 years being married. Why people been married 40 years and they still have that same issue? Right. That's what I'm saying. So, and you don't come to terms with that, then 3 years is nothing.
Yeah.
It's very minimum.
40 years of trying to change someone is crazy.
And that's still your issue.
Crazy work.
That is still your frustration point. Y'all still arguing and throwing stuff kind of deal.
Over stuff you knew day one.
They probably didn't knew day one. But,
well, day one of the marriage.
Right. Or, while you get into the marriage. But so, yeah. So go ahead, boo-hoo. And say, you know what? I love you. If you decide to change, come back. Instead of you let it go. It come back, it was for you.
Yep. All right. So he has a task to sit down with a therapist and his daughter.
Yeah.
Michael does talk with her friend.
Mm-hmm.
And he says he can't lose this woman and he needs to grow up.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying all the right things, saying all the things that needs to be said, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Michael and his daughter meet with Dr. Allie, and the daughter initially is like, I like to keep stuff in and not share anything.
Which is kind of like a dad.
So what we find out, just to kind of recap that whole scenario, what we find out is that a lot of it stems from the mother passing away.
Yeah, when she was 12.
When she was 12. And the trauma attached with that was the daughter was with the mother when she passed away and called 911, but kind of got stuck and frozen and could not fully help her mother in the midst of what was a fatal asthma attack.
Yeah, because they were asking her to CPR. She's like, I don't know how to do CPR.
Right.
They're asking me to turn her over. Okay, so it sounds like if she's 12 and she's weighing, 80 pounds, 70 pounds, and you tell her to turn over 100-pound woman,
right?
She couldn't do that either, you know?
Right. So he has regret because he feels like maybe he wasn't the greatest parent because they were in a different city at the time, but also he didn't really help his daughter navigate through what we found, what we know to be the regret that she had or the trauma that she had or that whole thing.
Because he ends up, obviously he takes his daughter, but the mother and the grandmother are doing most of the heavy lifting.
Yes.
Why Michael, I'm assuming because he was young,
Well, he playing out his hoop dream.
That's what I'm saying. And he playing basketball, whatever, that he wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And with the craziest statement he made, I was like, what? He's like, I thought she was going to get over it. What?
Yeah.
Get over the death of her mother and she was present when it happened. It's not like she's at school and someone calls her and say, oh, come to the office. We got to tell you your mom passed away.
She literally watched her mother's life drain out of her is what it sounds like.
Yes.
Now, granted, the mother may have gotten we don't know the full details, right?
We don't know if she got to the hospital.
The daughter was very present in the moment leading up to her passing.
Yes.
Right? So, that's pretty, and he is concerned about the daughter has a new relationship that he's concerned about as well.
Right. Because he feel like she's looking for love in the wrong places. Mm-hmm. But back to that just 1 second is that she was able to say that verbally that she feels that she contributed to her mom dying because she couldn't do what the 911 operator was asking. Mm-hmm. And she begins to cry. And he does console her. So Michael consoles her. He's hugging her. He's trying to love on her. He's like, I wasn't aware. She was thinking that. And he has regrets, right?
Yes.
And he has shame. And so, she's asking, so how do we make this better? Mm-hmm. And asking her, the young lady, like, how do you want your dad to be there for you? Is that going out? Mm-hmm. Is that doing activities? She says, allowing me to talk. And again, on both parts,
right.
that would take them going to counseling to teach them those new skills.
Yes.
Because once you start doing this and become part of your life, it takes that work to really to contribute. Like, why am I doing what I'm doing?
Right. Yeah. So we get to day 3.
Yeah.
And it's basically the blessing ceremony, right? So we're still engaged. We want to...
Yeah, because they meet with Tracy one last time.
Right?
They kind of recap the dad and daughter moment. He's like, okay, I understand what I need to do for my relationship. Mm-hmm. I'm starting to understand what I need to do for my daughter. Mm-hmm. I really want to work on doing this. I have a plan, right? A thought in mind of how I want to move forward. And then she's like, okay,
cool.
Do what you need to do to see if you can get the blessing from your family.
So they ask the blessings, right? Mm-hmm. So his mom, yes, she gives the blessing. Mm-hmm. His daughter gives the blessing. Mm-hmm. His grandmother gives the blessing. Mm-hmm. And at this point, we're like, are they all just going to fall in line?
Right, because I was like, hold on. He's not showing any fruit yet.
All we have is talk. All we have is I'm going to do better.
Right. So I was looking for them to give some contingencies.
Right.
Well, you will have my blessing when I've seen that Sonia can tell us that she's feeling supported and that additional income is coming in too.
Yep.
And maybe you guys need to pause on the
wedding.
On the wedding. Because if you don't got money to pay your bills, $1,000. Where are you getting money? Are you saying you're trying to have a wedding? Or y'all going to the courthouse? Because that's another question again. Because if you can't pay bills, how you paying for the wedding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
you don't want more debt.
Yeah.
And then that again brings more stress. And guess what? Then that puts y'all in divorce.
Yep.
With more debt.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, we're in fantasy land again.
So on her side, her mother says yes. Her dad says yes. But her friend, I think his name was Justin.
No, it started with a J.
It started with J.
I'm so sorry.
But her friend is like, listen, I hear all this talk. It sounds good.
It sounds real good.
But I can't give my yes. But if things go as you say they're going to go, then I can give my yes. So to her friend, kudos.
We were applauding.
We were like, listen, we were. Why? Because listen, he was giving those things that needed to be said and heard. It was like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to just kowtow to this, the whole thing, right? So they're like, okay, they hug, da-da-da-da. Then...
Oh, this is a receipt.
The producers, listen, I appreciate a great producer's receipt. I love when producers like, here's what y'all didn't see, but we're going to show y'all.
We got cameras everywhere. We don't put everything out, all your business out.
We film 24/7, but that don't mean we show everything that happened in the 24/7.
Right.
But here's something we do need to show. So we find basically they show a video of Justin talking, or not Justin, I'm sorry, Michael talking with grandma. And he's like, grandma, all right, this is the script. Can you remember? Can you memorize this? All right, say this, da, 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 da. This is what you're going to say at the blessed ceremony. I think I can say that, baby. Okay, thank you, grandma.
I'm like, bruh.
So they basically asked Sonia, it's like, how do you feel now that the blessing was basically manufactured, scripted? She's like,
that's deception. I was saying it's off the table. Because first of all, why do you need your grandma to say that? Let her be honest, right? Let her be honest.
Because if you want her blessing, you want her blessing.
Right.
Her blessing, not her recitement of what you say.
Right. And how much weight are you putting on it? Right? Because I appreciate it. But if Michael says he still want to get married, I'm not leaning on her answer. So,
because again, you still a grown man.
And so I'm trying to figure out why did he feel necessary to ask his grandmother to say something she really didn't want to say? And why would she not say to him, I am not going to say that? What regrets? What is it that they feel like they need to cater to Michael? Because to me, it's like a question of why do you feel this is necessary? That every time he asks you to do something,
you got to do it.
You got to do it. He's not a child. And even for a child, they have to learn no from somewhere. I'd rather you learn no from me than you be a spoiled brat. And then you have to learn it from the world. Because their no is jail time no. I said you couldn't have this. I said you couldn't have this tantrum. And my no is 7 to 10.
Yep. So as of right now, I know he and the daughter are still not really on speaking terms, right? Mm-hmm. And then they're still living together, right?
Mm-hmm. But the
wedding's been pushed back.
But the wedding's been pushed back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Go ahead. I know it's bubbling inside you. Go Go ahead.
She need to let him go, because that's the only way he's gonna fully understand that she is not gonna be like his mother
or his grandma
or grandma. She's not gonna be the third woman in his life, the main woman in his life that's gonna continue on with the same cycle that he's been allowed to live.
Right.
Obviously, I'm assuming he lived on his own. I'm gonna take a guess that he wasn't. Maybe he was living with his mother and his grandmother. I'm not moving a man in my house who has not have his own place. And I haven't seen, and let me put it this way, because some men do live with their parents and they're taking care of their parents. Mm-hmm. So you do need to know the fullness of the story.
Right. Like when we got together, I was living with my grandmother, but we were in school at the time.
We were in school together.
But I still handled my own stuff. I wasn't asking grandmother for anything.
Right. And I had a roommate. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't fully living on my own either.
Right.
Right. That's a different circumstance. I saw what you had to bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
We were bringing the same amount. You were bringing a little bit more to the table so that we knew that it was going to work. But now that you've lived with this person.
Right.
And you realize, unfortunately, until they work through whatever, because they said that they're in individual counseling and couple counseling.
True. Yes, that's right.
Since they're doing those type of work, I'm gonna show you. I ain't paying for something. Because if you can't leave financially, right, and we all tangled up together now, let the light go off where your 2K's playing and see if you come up with the money so you can play your video games.
Yeah, let the internet be gone.
Let the internet go. Because just talking and saying, Michael, I need you to do this. Michael, I need you to do this. Michael, I need you to do this. And Michael like, all right, I'll get to when I get to. Okay.
So, yeah, I agree. I think that some time away and apart would be useful and helpful. Mm-hmm. And it could potentially be, or would ideally be, the catalyst that would launch him to stepping up. Because right now he does not have really a full incentive to step up.
No.
If there is a threat without any action on the threat, if the threat is I'm going to leave you if things don't change, and he doesn't change, but you still together and you like, well, I need you to change. Well, I'm going to change, but you haven't changed. There's that cycle that's created.
There's no boundaries. This is what we call boundaries. Okay, my boundary is I'm not going to be bringing income in and keep paying for bills, and then you're only doing just enough when you told me you could do over $1,000.
And here's the thing, I don't necessarily believe that. I don't necessarily believe that that he could bring in an extra $1,000 like that.
Based off of his job? If we just look at the job,
if he were to focus and do that, absolutely, because I think HVAC technicians do well.
So yeah. So he can.
He has the potential.
Again, and we get in relationships based off potential, and then we don't allow to see the person to produce the fruit of it. I do believe in seeing people's potential, but you got to also see their drive. Right. And that's talking to, well, how did you take care of this before we got together? Oh, my grandmother helped me out. Those are red flags that say, well, how much does she help you out? So does she still help you out?
The thing that we were looking for, and this is going to be a key to help you all, I think, is potential without momentum is just always potential.
Boom.
If everyone has potential.
Yes.
But if I'm not in motion, if you can't tell which direction I'm going in, that potential is just stagnant. And for Michael, he has potential, but we need to see the movement.
There's no movement.
There's no momentum.
Right. And
so, because, going back to with you and I, we saw the potential in each other, but we also saw the momentum of what we were doing apart from each other to get towards what we say we're going to get towards.
Yep. And so this is all about her. At this point, she either has to, now, because this is the time where I say, if you're starting putting time into couples counseling, that's you wasting time if it's still not effective when he's still saying one thing and he's doing something else.
Or not doing anything.
And there's no boundary
Yep.
for him to say, okay, when you come across this boundary and you pass my boundary, it's over.
Yep.
Because if you're now 2 years into therapy, that's 5 years now gone. And I'm like this, nah, brah.
Yeah.
So she has an option.
Dating for 5 years with nothing is wild.
And you being frustrated,
That's
and you're
wild.
tired, and you're stressed out. You do better by yourself. Do bad by myself. Wasn't that a movie?
Yes.
So I would tell her, but she has a great friend that's already telling her.
Let it go.
Until you see him do it on his own without his grandmother's help.
Yes.
And his mother's help, which sounds like that's not going to change. So again, either you're going to start cutting something off and seeing how that works out. And if he doesn't come through there where he don't even want to save himself, okay, I gotcha.
Listen, that's all right. We're good. I think y'all get the point. All right. We're going to cut this off today. We appreciate y'all. I think that's it.
Get off my
Because y'all getting her worked up. All right, listen, that's it for today. We
pray
appreciate y'all. If you have not already,
blessings
hit that
on
like.
my couple. Blessings.
Yes, we
We
do.
want them. I don't want to see anybody break up.
No.
I don't. I really would want to see the best for them.
Right.
And I wish them the best. I hope the counseling works.
But the best for each of them individually and hopefully collectively.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, but that's it for this one. We'll see y'all next time. Have a great one. Be blessed. Peace.